All right, everybody. How y'all doing up here on YouTube? So, I wanted to come up here and give a little bit of advice, but before I do, let me talk about Grey Witch, because I'm a Grey, all right? Um, it's a nice little article, and I'm going to post a link in my description bar, but I want to read some of it, right? A Grey Witch embodies a unique approach to witchcraft, incorporating elements of both white and black magic without showing a preference for either. This neutrality characterizes the Grey Witch as a force that exists between the streams in the world of witchcraft. Central to the philosophy of a Grey Witch is the belief that the world operates in shades of gray rather than in simplicity black and white, and this perspective influenced their practice of their craft. The emergence of Grey Witch can be seen as a response to the prevalent attitude of harm none within the witchcraft community. Casting hexes and curses has always been a controversial subject among witches, particularly those who adhere to the Wiccan creed. White witches often regarded as the more exemplars of the community, and the rise of the Grey Witch represent a relatively recent counterforce to this prevailing perception. A popular motto among Grey Witches encapsulates their stance on witch who cannot harm and cannot heal. They have a striking balance between these two aspects, unlocking the potential magic within the spiritual path of sorcery. Viewing gray magic as an expression of balance between light and dark resonates with many practitioners. The light represents the higher divine mind, while the dark represents the deep unconscious self, the primal, the animalistic aspect, and the profound power of physicality. Now, that is a little bit of going up inside of there. So, like, when I be reading my tarot cards and stuff like that, my tongue is much in that realm. It also has about gray magic, gray witches, Wiccan, gray witches, solitary practitioners. How do one become a gray witch? Magical colors. Do gray witches look different? How old is gray witchcraft? Um, is witchcraft a witch tradition? And I find this article very important. So I'm going to read a little bit just in case people don't go. It is important to clarify the distinction between a witchcraft tradition and a traditional witchcraft. Traditional witchcraft typically refers to a practice that is highly exclusive and rooted in magical heredity. It is often associated with ancestor traditions and the belief that practitioners are born into the craft rather than made. If you are seeking information on traditional witchcraft, it is recommended to explore other sources dedicated specifically to that topic. However, a witchcraft tradition, on the other hand, refers to a specific mode and practice followed by a group of practitioners, of which will often align their personal practice known as their path within a particular tradition. So, being on my journey and I got introduced to um I got introduced to what I was, everybody going their personal journey and stuff like that. I'm assuming anyway, that's the type of person I am. So that influenced it. Yeah, I do have a degree in philosophy also that um, also influenced it, um, to be honest. Um, but a lot of me staying balanced, my natal chart influenced it too, also. Um, like this article really kind of says a whole lot too. Um, Becoming a great witch is open to anyone, regardless of age, race, gender, or any personal attitude. However, it's important to note that the path of the great witch may not resonate with everyone. Some individuals might not feel comfortable engaging in black magic, even if it's a situation where it might be deemed necessary. Therefore, before embarking on the journey of becoming a great witch, it is crucial to take the time to reflect and evaluate your desires and intentions. Understand why you wish to become one, a great witch. Become a great witch is essential. Does it truly align with your core principles and the values and so forth? So, to become a great witch, one should strive for a comprehensive understanding of witchcraft and acquire knowledge of both white and black magic. It is essential to engage in through the research and study, regardless of the specific path one chosen to follow. This includes exploring the history, traditions, rituals, ethical considerations associated with witchcraft in general, as well as devolving into nuisance of gray witchcraft specifically. Because there's a real neutral balance in being a great witch. I mean, it's a real neutral balance. There's a fast return of karma. When you trying to pursue this path is very frustrating, and I'm not saying it necessarily. I'm trying to stay kind of balanced, like for you to decide whether I chose it or whether it was really part of me. Because I really don't want to debate that part. That's why I kind of threw in the difference of as in traditional witchcraft and witchcraft traditional. And like I said, I'm gonna post the link of the article down there. So if you're interested and understanding who I am, because I don't like controversy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just me. I'm being me. And these are my characteristics. This me opening up to myself. And personally, the word witch just is how do I say it? It's a human level of replacing goddess anyway, of keeping is within the hierarchy of the feminine energy as the representation, as the physical representation of the feminine energy. So we just defining the feminine energy in the way that we want to, and maybe sometimes those words come from years of hereditary trauma, um, and many other things. Your lifeline. There's so many things that pop up in the middle of it. Okay, um, it has so many similar qualities to being empathic, clairvoyant, and so many other names. So I'm just saying, yes, I am a great. I remember when I came up here and did the video ain't up here. I ain't gonna take this one down because I said it. Back then, I did, because I was new to this, okay? Opening up to who I was scary. Like I knew what I was when I was thinking at what I was, but I didn't understand what I was part of inside of me that was rising up and becoming still what we are. If anybody follow that, you know, people who've been on the spiritual journey probably caught on to it real good because you can relate to what I'm saying. Um, whether I just call this maturity, I call it aging, I call it getting old, and so many other words that fit, and that's just how witch work. But I'm agree. If I want my respect, you know, like I did the Mercury retrograde and stuff, and go point of respect. But my obedience is coming out also by explaining it. And so, if for my type of practice, right, if anybody wanted to come and this, how I'd improved in my practices, right? So me personally, being that I'm in 2024 as a gray, right? So as far as me in 2024 as a gray, some of the stuff I'm about to say is the things that we have been doing since I've been living on this earth. And in the midst of my comprehension, my longitude of time, which my time ain't gonna go past my age, you know what I'm saying? So within that realm, this is where this type of practice is coming from, because it's still moving forward, but we renewing. I'm in the reincarnation of it. So this is where I can give advice on maybe something being safe passage. So right now this energy is great for people who trying to find closer meaning to who they are. Um, I don't know how well it is far as channeling financial things because the law of attraction is out itself. So I would be careful on that part because it depends. Money also plays a role in lineage and assets and how we acquire those when we do money spells. Um, in the beginning, when money spells was created, I believed to be blessings, and from blessings, chants or spells or prayers begin to be the things to be the terminology to explain why things manifesting and why things happen that way. Regardless of it, is part of being connected with the oneness too. So we develop languages within the connection and the growth of humanity as we spread and we entertain the oneness within inside of the oneness. Okay. And yeah. So I have a whole lot of tarot cards, right? So tarot cards is a common thing that you could do. Okay. So let me try to give an example. Say say that you is searching something about yourself and historically. Maybe like you trying to figure out in this retrograde, is there any potential karma that's going to come back my way from something that I likely understood, I felt so confident and right about? Can you help me with this advice? Um, you know what I'm saying? So hold on 1 minute, y'all. I'm just gonna put this up here for a pause break. So I have many tarot decks. I have many of those, right? So let's say we have, I'm going to use some examples. So you're looking for a traditional answer, the traditional tarot, okay? And I have another traditional maker. I have the Thoth. So now the thing is, the Rider Waite tradition is kind of the pathway on this path. Like Rider Waite and Pamela Smith. Pamela Smith was probably very important with it too, extremely important with it. Because her artwork is also the main thing that really binds it, because that's what creativity is, and water. Water is something that we constantly need. So the element of her craft with inside of it, most talented people, comes with water. Okay. So if you're looking for something traditional, take your deck, whatever deck you got, break it down into the separate minor arcanas. Do the whatever is the representative of what the sword is, hearts, cups. I started off with a deck of cards. Cups. See my history coming back up inside of me. Like I learned with a deck of cards, and I got obsessed with the design. It's my ADHD with it. That's where my woman compulsive spending shit come from. Now I be spending a lot of money on this, but the fire and the pinnacles. Then separate, make just keep your major arcanas aside for right now at this present time. Once you done separated them, right? Go into your intuitive meditation and put each one in order. Okay, put one and keep that ace up. Go from the ace to the 10. And when you're thinking about your traditional pathway of your question, and you should go through each 4 stacks first. Okay. As you go through each four stacks, try to listen to yourself. You're going to have to mentally multitask. Okay, this is a mental. You're going to be within your crown and your third eye right now. Those two going to be getting activated. We want to understand what your chakras is, if that's the way you function with inside of your gift, or you're new to it and you want to try something new. This is how your chakras is going to come. This meditation is with inside your tarot card. Oh, let me back up too. One thing that you should take precaution of, even though you're using a traditional, the reason, well, let's say it. Okay. The reason you need to look at these is because that deck might be the one that give you the images you need. It might not be the deck that release the answer you need. Okay? So your brain need to be multitasking. Your brain should be in multitasking mode because you should be into a settled meditation mode as you separated those cards. Okay? So you should have been activating your third eye and your crown chakra. All right? So because your deck images, the reason you're looking at them is to align with how you could respond to the answer that you will receive. Okay? So sometimes that first deck might not be the right one. So pay attention to your responses. Even if your mind is going down memory lane, let those memories just go and continue to breathe in and out and look at those cards. And by the time you get to the last suit, because you're going to put them in order of your emotional connection. When you sit there meditating over those cards, as you separate them, you're thinking about that question that you want your answer to. So the way those cards begin to separate in those piles, that represents something else for you too. Okay? Now, say you right now there might be some kind of love interest or something you're going through. Like people got different ways and different problems. I would definitely recommend having a deck that have a love story on it. Okay? This Vampire Tarot has a love story on it. Okay? I have a couple other decks that have a love story on it. Now, if you're looking for a love story, like you're looking for marriage or something like that, make sure you deal with a deck that reveals that, where you have a binding connection with. That is your favorite deck, because you and that deck going to tell each other the truth. It's just whether you could accept the truth or handle the truth the way it comes out. Never do anything without being prepared to handle the answer. And the answer don't mean it's gonna always come out. I have done this before myself. Sometimes my answer and took 2 months to come clear to me. Um, I'm not gonna say something gonna happen real quick, but besides your meditation mode and your crown and your third eye will definitely happen very quickly. Like your memory part of it will happen very spontaneously. Then you have to see the way that it's going to respond, because say for instance you separated your cards and swords was the first one to come out, and then let's say it was pentacles that came out, then the cups came out, and then the fire came out. So maybe when you was meditating on whatever that question was, right? Maybe you've been knowing the answer the whole time. So when you get to the swords, just because the swords came up first and the memory is there, doesn't necessarily mean that. So the pinnacle mean, okay, when we try to talk to you, you take this one option right here, and then it's going to your heart. In your heart, in your heart of all hearts, your root of yourself, this is what you really want. But due to the fact of not listening, making this decision, and your heart being here, this is what you manifested with the wands. So sometimes that's why I say it might take a minute for that answer to come. And for another example, after looking at this video, if you real conscious on the way your cards come out, okay, now you're inside the oneness. So that means you're already entering, if you real conscious on the way the cards come out, you already entering in your meditation into insecurities. You're releasing insecurities into your card because you're not going with the flow of it. So when your cards get lined up, it's going to read back your insecurity. And sometimes when that insecurity is read back, we usually don't like that answer majority of the times. Okay? We really run from those. But we run from them because we don't realize what our behavior, we don't, we kind of like get blinded for a minute by our heart and our throat chakra is jamming everything to go to our crown chakra because our throat chakra also deals with thoughts because we speak out, we communicate with people with the things on our mind. Okay, so the throat chakra also work with thoughts. So it jams up. So then when you're going through the process, it might look like, oh yeah, I knew that shit was real. I knew that shit was happening because it's just going to feed your insecurity. So you could have landed up with cups. So I'm just saying, and cups could have been the first card that you started off with. Who knows? It could have been any of them, really, because it would have just gave you the answer to satisfy your insecurity. Because inside yourself, you have your own trinity. Okay, we have the id, the ego, and the super ego. So in yourself, you have already a supernatural person. So when we work with tarot cards, that intuitive person is activated. So that intuitive person is also part of your protective layer. So if it need to, it also works as timing mechanisms. It's not your time. It's not the place. It's not the perfect alignment. But okay, we're going to keep you going until we can get you back on track. All right? And that's how safety mechanisms work. So just take those things. This new moon energy coming up is going to be very great to indulge in it. Get yourself prepared for it. I can't say whether the full moon will bring that answer because you might just get it during the new moon. Because the reason that the energy is really shining, like they projecting through this moon energy right now, the desires for us and the desires that we have for us is going to be at a nice little level. And to see whether some of those desires match up, which will also play a role. Energy in the planetary positions always play a role with everything. So these energies is lined up to give you certain information, but you have to understand Saturn is part of this energy and everybody else. So things have time. Remember, time is always essential. So now, as being a gray witch, and it came out, this is my practices, this is my style, and I have many, many more. Right? I'm a neutral person. You have any question? Anything, if y'all see it, it's what's up. Okay? Thanks.